Please welcome Jujhar Singh, Corporate Vice President, CRM.
New York, New York, New York. What a city. What a vibrant city. Thanks a lot, everyone, for joining me today in this session. We are going to be talking about an area that I'm really passionate about, digital transformation and customer engagement, and how intelligence plays a big part of it. In the morning session, you would have seen how a lot of our customers are actually undergoing digital transformation, from farmlands to jet engines. Companies are doing transformations across the board. But what better place to talk about this fourth industrial revolution than New York, which has been the epicenter of the first one, financial capital of the world. So when we are talking about this technological revolution, New York is a great place to do that. Judson in the morning specifically talked about the fourth industrial revolution. I'm going to take it a step further and relate it to the key pillars that are involved with the industrial revolution and how it impacts the customer engagement processes. One thing is for sure, that this particular revolution is going to alter the way we work, we live, and the way we relate to each other. Its scope and its complexity is going to be huge, but new models are going to emerge out of it. Even today, on the customer engagement side of the house, you have companies, insurance companies, that are actually driving digital transformation based on IoT put into the cars. You are getting the patterns of your driving behavior, and those are driving the premiums. You will also be in a position to offer differentiated offerings, proactive maintenance, directly through this digital revolution. Let me specifically call out the key pillars of this revolution. First of all, it's network orchestration, across people, processes, devices. Secondly, it's about evolving channels. Newer and newer channels are going to be used for communicating with people. Thirdly, artificial intelligence is going to be part of all walks of life. And then connected devices are going to be a big part of this puzzle. So these are the four pillars that we are going to emphasize. Let me peel the onion a little bit and talk about a little bit of each one of these trends. IoT. Gartner specifically calls out that there are 4.8 billion connected devices today. This is going to become close to 25 billion devices. But what's more important is the fact that companies would be, in 2020, would be in a position to almost harness $300 billion of additional services revenue. That's a big number. So IoT is a revolution. We need to be ahead of it. And some of the examples that I gave on the customer engagement side with companies such as the ones who are doing insurance premiums based on driving patterns is a great example. ThyssenKrupp is a customer of ours, and they manufacture elevators. They were also traditionally delivering physical goods. In this particular case, elevators. But in their business, what's extremely important is reliability. So they used our infrastructure, brought in a lot of data. In the morning, James talked about data, data, data. In this particular case also, ThyssenKrupp brought a lot of that data, did aggregation on top of it, and was in a position to completely transform the way people think about it. Instead of selling elevators, it was about uptime. It was about SLAs. It was about outcomes. Artificial intelligence. We have data exploding in terabytes, petabytes. But at the same time, companies need to use this data as a strategic asset. Gartner, in one of their studies, has called out the fact that in 2020, there will be companies, almost 10% of them, who will have dedicated organizations. We talked about how VP of electricity was there. The same kind of revolution is happening. People are talking about organizations who are specifically focused into bringing this strategic asset and monetizing it. Same way, people who have done the digital transformation completely, they would be in a position to almost harness $100 million on the bottom line. One thing is for sure, while the data is exploding, and at the same time, companies have lesser and lesser time to adopt. This picture gives you a quick preview of the lifespan of the companies. 67 years in 1920, almost 15 years now, but the projection is in 2020, only 25% of the S&P 500 companies will be living and alive. So although artificial intelligence is key, the time to respond to it, the time to change business models has become shorter and shorter. But there is one good news. With the cloud transformation, you do have the data assets can be mined at lower cost, at high speed, in a very economic fashion, and that helps. So taking AI and imbuing it across all of your processes is key to staying ahead. In a study on the third pillar, network orchestration, Gary and Megan did a study in 2014 and talked about the different kinds of business models. They talked about companies who are asset producers. They are focused on building products. Then they talked about companies who actually are service providers. Third, there are companies who are focused on intellectual capital. And this is where companies like Microsoft play a part. But what was most interesting is the fourth category, the category of network orchestrators. They focus on relationship. The relationship and the network capital is their key focus. And these companies were found to be, they studied, in fact, Airbnb, Uber, and Alibaba, and they found out that these companies in general send way higher, at a much higher profitability rate, and they can actually use their assets in a very effective fashion. End result, the whole company is valued way far more. But this process of network orchestration is not easy to do, and it's very intuitive. In order for us to build the interstate highway of US, it took 36 years and $432 billion. But for Facebook, a network orchestrator, to reach 500 million users, it took a few years. That's the comparison. But getting to that level is not easy. Absolutely is not easy, because network orchestration needs a different mindset. It needs to look at everything in a different fashion. Sarah of Spanx in the morning talked about how this simple concept, taking off the feet of the hosieries, actually changed the way they did business. But you need a different mindset to address those things. Mary Meeker, in her internet study, also called out that the fourth pillar, channels are evolving. If you look at, voice has been the standard staple for quite some time. Messaging, both SMS and email, has been around for quite some time. But the newer generation, the millennium generation, specifically has a preference towards chat as well as social channels. This is going to change the way people do business. So these are the four key pillars of the fourth industrial revolution. Now I'm going to take a step back and address what Microsoft is doing about each one of these four pillars, and then relate it back to how do we take it to the customer engagement processes, and what are we doing as far as the product is concerned. On the first hand, when you look at networks, we invested in the networks in a huge fashion. The acquisition of LinkedIn is a testament to that. But not only LinkedIn, the productivity graph from our Office assets and the customer graph from our Dynamics 365. All of them are rich assets which will help you transform and bring insights which were not available earlier. Secondly, when you look at new and emerging channels, Microsoft's bot framework helps you engage in different fashion across multiple channels. Social, through Microsoft Social Engagement, and LinkedIn provides another example of that. Thirdly, if you look at the artificial intelligence domain, we are invested extremely heavily on artificial intelligence, not only on the product asset side of the house, but also on the people side of the house. When you look at product assets, we have Cortana Intelligence, which lets you bring any type of data, including big data, and then run machine learning on top of it. But at the same time, we also have Bing Insights, whereby you can leverage search, social, and do Bing predictions on upcoming events. We are in a position to leverage all of that in our experiences within the application. The last one, connected devices. We are heavily invested in this domain, and Azure IoT is a great example of that. We have out-of-the-box applications for remote monitoring, predictive maintenance, etc. But not only that, we have also invested in building a deep connection to Dynamics 365. In today's presentations, we'll go deeper on that and show you how proactive maintenance can be done in field service scenarios. Along with that, we have also invested in the different industry verticals. This is where our connected car platform shows up in a big fashion, whereby additional telematics, find my car scenarios, advanced navigation, these are out-of-the-box experiences that we make available through this. To quickly recap, we have 4 pillars that we talked about in digital transformation: network orchestration, artificial intelligence, evolving channels, and connected machines that are going to impact the customer engagement processes. And there are multiple examples of this. Panasonic, for example, introduced a robotic checkout process which moves depending upon the density of the people, and it delivers automatic checkout and packaging along with a shopping cart experience. They were in a position to reduce that whole experience and their cost by 10%, a big jump. Retailers, on the other hand, leveraging artificial intelligence because they are always worried about the demand variance. They have started to anticipate that demand through artificial intelligence and can make those predictions and store that inventory with 90% accuracy, unheard of in the previous experiences. So these are just some quick examples. Now, in order to address this, we talked about how Microsoft has gone about this. We have talked about our digital transformation framework, which I believe is a prerequisite for the 4th industrial revolution. And when you look at this, it's not just about technology. Even Paul talked about how it is a complete business strategy change. You need to think about how you are engaging your customers in a different fashion, how you are empowering your employees, how you are optimizing your operations, and how you are transforming your products. We can do all of these 4 through Dynamics 365. And what I'm going to do next is take you a step deeper on customer engagement processes and how we make all these 4 come to reality. Let's look at the first one, engaging customers. When you look at engaging customers, for us, it is key to engage customers in an intelligence-driven process. When we talk about intelligence-driven, it's active intelligence and not reactive. Think about when a sales rep is trying to engage different leads. He tries to do it in a fashion. Today, he goes through a list and keeps calling. That's their model of engagement. But in a true sense, if you can prioritize and predict and rate your leads with artificial intelligence, because you know what has resulted in a positive outcome of the opportunity getting converted, you can actually have an effective way of engaging your customers. Secondly, newer channels are effectively available to engage your customers. So this is where we talk about the Microsoft Bots framework, how it lets you truly engage your end customers. Along with that, social for us is just another channel. It's part and parcel of how you interact. When we bring all of these newer channels together, for us it is key that we do it in an omni-channel way. All of these experiences, you can seamlessly switch from one experience to another. And what is also unique is, which we'll show, is the fact that you can do engagement both on online channels as well as offline. So we are here at this event, and bringing the whole engagement of this event tied back to your online engagement processes is key. These are the frameworks that we let through an intelligence mechanism to do it in an omni-channel way. So let's roll the video of a key customer of ours, Amway, and see it in action.
Amway is a $9.5 billion company, and we operate in over 100 countries and territories around the world, providing hard-working individuals with the opportunity to own their own business through a low-cost, low-risk opportunity. We have over 19,000 employees globally, all committed to supporting our ABOs and their businesses through high-quality products.
An ABO is an acronym for an Amway business owner. These are the people around the world that actually sell the Amway products.
As independent business owners, they're the ones out in the field building the businesses to support their own personal goals.
We want to make sure we're able to help our ABOs be successful. We have to hear their needs, we have to understand those needs, and be able to get that information in one concise area that everybody can leverage.
Microsoft Dynamics 365 is enabling us to capture all the interactions that we have with ABOs and customers around the globe. It allows us to look at our data, action what we need to, and also put attention to where we can simplify the business.
Dynamics 365 has really improved our ability to support ABOs. We're able to look at just one pane of glass that has all the information at the fingertips of our account managers. That allows us to really easily show them where they can improve, set goals, monitor those goals, and give them feedback. And this is a big business value add for them.
Dynamics 365 allows us to bring together different products that our call center staff especially need.
It's simplified our training for our end users. So we've seen a lot of decreased training times. It's easy to navigate, and all the information's right there at their fingertips.
The way we used to roll out technology in the past really was an on-premise deployment model. And so we'd have to go to every single country with a deployment team, and it would take us 5 to 7 years to roll out technology.
Now that we've moved to the cloud, our ability to launch a robust, complex system in multiple markets efficiently, it's very cost-effective for us to do it that way.
Microsoft Dynamics 365 gives us scalability and speed to market that we've never been able to have before.
To really bring the analytics and insights necessary to have intelligent conversations with our leaders and ABOs that are out there, this is a whole new area for Amway.
Dynamics 365 will be critical to the partnership that we're striving for with our ABO leaders.
Technology helps us empower our staff and our ABOs to focus on capabilities that we never have been able to provide in such a seamless, easy way.
This is very much a relationship business. It's about helping people be effective. This technology solution is going to provide us the insights that we've never had before.
We're able to really improve the experience for our ABOs when they can see the type of tools that we're providing to them to help them drive their business forward and help them be successful. It's a huge win for us. There is no limit to what we can do.
So now that we have seen how our customers have used it, I'm going to invite Ryan to actually show you how we engage with customers right in the product. Ryan.
Thank you, Jujhar. So today we're going to look at Dynamics 365 in 4 distinct ways. First of all, we're going to start with a chatbot, which is a sales representative on our insurance portal that we're seeing now. Then we're going to jump into the social channel, where I'll play a different persona that's actually looking to buy a Surface Book, but then who happens to, after tweeting our company, go to a portal website and engage from a different channel, and see how we bring that together. Those are all online engagements. And lastly, we'll actually look at the offline engagement that Jujhar mentioned, where we can organize events and have in-person conversations such as today. So let's actually take a look. As I mentioned, I'm here on a car insurance website, and at the bottom, I have this option of live chat. So I'm actually going to engage with the live chat. Now, this is really making a sales representative in your organization available 24/7. The live chat is always available. We can always engage. So it's asking how it can help me today. I'm actually going to begin in a dialogue and say, what are you actually capable of doing? And as we ask that, we'll see that based on a Q&A, it's going to respond to us in a very rapid space. So it's explaining what it can do. I'll actually say, okay, where is this company based? And we'll start to get a little bit more serious about the answers. I need insurance. That's what I'm actually looking for at this particular moment. So as we say that to the chatbot, what it's going to do is actually return the product catalog of insurances that this particular company is offering. So I can see here that we have auto insurance, property insurance, and life insurance. Now, what I'm actually interested in today is auto insurance. So I will engage with that particular category, and we'll see that it starts to say, oh, okay, I didn't sign into this portal. It doesn't know me yet at this moment. I'm anonymous. But I'm going to say, yes, I'm an existing customer. And when I say I'm an existing customer, it's actually going to say, what is your full name? It's going to perform verification of my identity so that we can engage. As we do this, what we'll see is first I'm asked to give my name. I'm playing the role of Lance at this moment. And it's going to go into Dynamics 365 and actually look for the personal identification number so that I can verify the fact that I am Lance. So as we do this here, what we'll see is I provide this number, and it's going to go again and say, OK, I know who you are. I recognize where you're coming from. Let's actually give you all the information that we can find and start to upsell this particular opportunity. So it recognizes that my daughter has just turned 16 years old, and it's asking me if I'd like to include her in the auto insurance profile, insurance that I'm looking for at this moment. So I actually do. I say, yes, I'd like to engage with this. So it's going to take it a step further. It's generating a quotation for us in the background. And in order to do that, it's going to actually ask, OK, what kind of car am I driving at this moment? So I'm going to respond to the chatbot and say, oh, I'm driving a Ford. And it's going to get a little bit deeper and say, OK, what type of model are you driving? And here, at least in my opinion, is a very interesting part. It's actually going to use our cognitive services and request that I upload a picture of my vehicle so that it can analyze the state of it and base the insurance policy on that car. So as I say, I'm driving a 2015 model. The next question here is, do you have a photo of the car? And yes, I do. Now, in our preparation, we uploaded a picture of a puppy, and it actually saw that it was a puppy, but we're not going to do that right now. We'll actually upload the picture of my car, and we'll grab that here and say, yeah, this is the car I'm driving. So we've uploaded that. It's processing this image for us at this moment, and in a kind of human way is also going to react to me and say, hey, that's actually a very nice purchase, nice-looking car. We have the information that we're looking for from you at this moment. And then what it's going to do is actually generate the quotation, which is an opportunity in Dynamics 365 for me, and tell me the price that I can purchase this auto insurance for. So as it does that, I see that it's $146.50, and it's actually asking my opinion and my feedback. Now, I'm a little bit taken back by this price. I expected it to be much cheaper than it is. I'm Dutch, so I also like it to be cheap. So as I go here, I'm actually going to say, no way, that is too expensive. And this is, I think, the very interesting part here. I've been engaged with the chatbot the entire time, but it's going to recognize here that I'm at risk, and it's going to bring in an available agent for me to actually continue that dialogue with. And I'd like to switch roles now and actually be that sales representative in your company and look at what they're seeing as they're brought into the conversation that the chatbot was executing. So as we switch over here, we leave the website that we were just visiting, and we go into Dynamics 365 Opportunity Management. And what we see is all kinds of information about my profile. We have the complete transcript on the right-hand side of the dialogues that just take place. But I would like to identify or draw your attention here that they have seen that I am actually at risk. I have a 75% chance of churning, and they will actually advise this agent on what type of discount they can give me in order for me to most likely continue to do business with them. So this is a first example of, let's say, our online customer engagement aspect. From here, I would actually like to switch over to the social engagement. So thinking of a social care team in your organization, looking at the overall buzz about your company, about your products, we're able to capture this, be that from Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, etc. Now, buzz is, of course, very relevant, but where we want to take this demo is actually go into sentiment. Are people positive? Are they neutral? Or are they negative about us at this moment? And what we're able to do with all of the data that we're collecting is actually analyze that data. And we bring the power of machine learning here. What we're able to do is view the conversations that are ongoing today at this moment and actually detect intention analysis. So based on the words that are used in the social posts, we can see that people are requesting information from us. They're actually giving signs that they're going to purchase, or they might have support requests. Now, all of these different processes can be brought into Dynamics 365 and supported by either your customer service representatives or your sales departments. So earlier today, I tweeted about this, and you'd be thinking, okay, how does a social care team take care of that? So what we offer here is our social center. We have a one-stop view where they can identify the influencers, they can see the sentiment, and again, they can look at the intentions. And even from this social center, they can respond directly to the customers that they would want, be that either in a direct message or in a public message, which we're seeing here at the bottom of someone actually asking questions about the upgrading of Dynamics 365. So, as I mentioned, I tweeted earlier. I said I'm going to buy a Surface Book because they're really great. And we see that that has an intention of someone actually wanting to purchase something. So what Dynamics 365 does is called auto triage. It automatically sends that tweet into Dynamics 365 for a representative to pick up and take action on as they follow the business process moving forward. So let's take a look at what that is. In this particular example, we created a case. That case is about Ryan Martin, myself, so we of course have all the contact details. The exact tweet that was messaged is now the case title, and that's very important because it's where we bring knowledge into the demonstration. On the right-hand side here, we see the related information. We can see the cases that Ryan has had in the past. He is a loyal customer and has an entitlement, and as we drive this forward, we actually get the knowledge base articles. So again, based on that exact tweet, the service representative is given the specific knowledge base article that makes sense to send to Ryan because he's engaging with us. And using Azure Text Analytics, we're actually also going through the entire Dynamics 365 application, looking at what everyone else have done, and said, here are similar cases, and you can dive into those and see this is exactly how they solved them. So this would be how I would actually drive this forward. But Ryan is active guy. I'm an active guy. I tweet, and then I actually go, Then I actually go to portals, and I might begin to look at dialogues that are happening on there. I'm maybe reading a blog or joining a forum within the community portal that we offer. And I did log in this time. So before we saw it from, let's say, an anonymous user, now I'm logged in as Ryan, and I see this option here which says live chat. I would like to talk to someone in the organization about this Surface Book that I want to engage with. So switching role from the portal that we're looking at here to a unified service desk, which a customer service representative would use, we'll see how we make the connection between the chat that we just saw and the agent that we're looking at. So I'll switch that role here. And what we'll see is, first of all, I'm not in a session at this moment. I have a beautifully rich Power BI dashboard telling me everything that's going on with the organization. But on the right-hand side here, we see that I can actually grab a particular chat. Now, this is the bridge that we just created. Ryan requested a chat on the portal, and now we have an agent who's guided by call scripts, which I'll explain in 1 second, able to handle the processing of the case or the questions that I may have in this sense. Now, once again, what's very important here is the fact that we have the call scripts. Because I have two options really here to say. I can create a new service request for Ryan, or I can link this to an existing service request. And if you're asking, okay, how do you link that? Here on the right-hand side, we of course see those cases that are active, and we see the active one of going to buy a Surface Book. Now, once again here, we can bring in knowledge, we can resolve this case, and we can actually send a survey out and ask how the customer found the experience. So this was our online portion of the, let's say, omni-channel engagement that we're looking at, but we also mentioned the offline portion that we would like to show you. So switching gears, we will go here to the right screen, and we will look at events. Sorry, too quick. On to There we go. So we'll look at events. So we have a rich template of a portal that we're offering here. This is a Contoso's conference in 2017, much like the conference we're at today. We have a number of speakers that possibly people are interested in seeing. And of course, we have a bunch of sessions that are ongoing that people can attend. Now, as they attend those sessions, they also might be saying, I'm interested in follow-up. I want to be registered for more information. Dynamics 365 is going to track all of that and, again, hand it off to sales representatives. So this is the, let's say, customer-facing portal that we have. But to switch gears and show what that looks like in Dynamics 365, we have an entire business process that guides us through setting up the event. We determine the agenda, and we can even distribute the sessions by audience, by industry, and by session type. So taking online engagement, as we saw with the chatbot, the portal, and the social engagement, and taking offline engagement via event management. And that was our demo for customer engagement. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Ryan. So I just wanted to point out some key differentiators. We talked about how intelligence plays a big part in engagement. The whole concept of social auto-intent analysis was a great reflection of that. Secondly, the newer emerging channels, you saw how bots can be actively used for engagement 24/7 across the board. And finally, we also do the complete bridge of omni-channel, both online and offline experiences through events, all tied together. Going to the next pillar, empowering employees. For empowering employees, if you want to deliver a great customer experience, you have to empower your employees. And the way to do that is, if you look at the key experience your employees have today, they have their productivity applications, which are in silos. They don't talk to their customer engagement applications. So having all of that in one place without any app switching can lead to higher productivity. This is where Dynamics 365 and Office 365 are built in a very immersive fashion. You don't need to have any app switching, and you save a few hours for selling. Every single time you will actually use it in an immersive fashion. Secondly, mobile is a key portion. You need to have the same information available on your tablets, on your phone. And what we do uniquely is the capability of all of that to be also available in an offline fashion, complete offline, and fully secure. Customer knowledge and comprehensive customer knowledge is key if you want to really empower your users. In today's system, CRM systems, part of the puzzle only is there. Part of it is in the legacy backend systems or in even the financial backend systems. How do you bring all of that customer information together so that you can truly empower your customers and your employees to be really serving your customers in an effective fashion? Relationship insights. We talked about the network orchestration, the relationship capital part. This is where we leverage the insights from LinkedIn, the insights from Office 365, and bring all of that together to actively provide guidance to the employees to make changes. And while we are doing that, the concept of constantly listening and iterating with your customers based on their feedback so that your employees can serve them better is key. Let me share with you an example of one of our customers, Ingram Micro. Ingram Micro is the world leading technology solution provider. They service thousands of VARs, and in their universe, with the cloud transformation, a big change happened. They had lead time of 6 months to respond to the needs of their customers. With the cloud transformation, the expectations of the customers went sky high. They wanted response in a few days, from 6 months to a few days. That was a huge transformation that they needed to do. And for them, their customer information was distributed in different systems. They were actually using multiple systems. And their office productivity solutions were not working in tandem with their rest of business apps. So with this in mind, they launched on a journey with us. And in a matter of 66 days, we were in a position to make them live. The before and the after situation, now they have all of their systems, sales, service, marketing, all sitting on one platform. They have complete Office 365 immersive experiences. And at the same time, what is most important is that Customer 360, the complete customer knowledge, is available to their agents to actually take the experience from being very reactive to become much more proactive. So they went through a digital transformation experience by empowering their employees, by giving them end-to-end experiences across different workloads and immersive productivity. So with that, I'm going to invite Param to actually show it in action, empowering the employees. Param, take it away.
Thank you, Jujhar. So today I'm going to play the role of a salesperson. As a salesperson, I think my most important job is to make sure I connect with my customers. I understand the needs of my customers, and I make sure I'm helping them solve problems. So I spend a lot of time with my customers. And usually when I'm meeting customers, the only piece of technology that I have with me is my phone. And I want to make sure that I have my phone that gives me access to all the critical information, but more importantly, I can run my business on my phone. A lot of my customers email me, so that's where, let's say, I start my customer interaction. I'm going to go into my email application. I can see here that I've got an email from my customers. I've got a new email from Charles Link. If I click on Charles Link, I know I'm working with them on a proposal. If I click on Charles Link, I can see Charles's email. What I can do here is directly within this email, touch this icon right here, which basically fires up the Dynamics 365 application directly into my email experience. Now, what this application does, it resolves all of those recipients of that email by email address, and it finds out what Dynamics 365 CRM tells me about each one of these recipients. I can see that Charles is a VP of procurement at one of my customers, and I've got a number of activities and opportunities I'm tracking with Charles. I've also got Allie, who's copied on this email, and Tom, who's copied on this email, and I can see their complete profile coming directly from Dynamics 365. Now, if I touch on Charles here, I know that Charles and I are working on this opportunity for North Twin Printers. I want to engage with that opportunity and start to update information about that opportunity. Now, as I touch that, what happens is it's going to log me out again, it's going to log back in again, but it takes the context of that opportunity, and it automatically moves me into that opportunity, and I'm able to start to work on that opportunity and get some information about that opportunity directly in place. As soon as I log in, my token timed out here, and usually if the token isn't timed out, it will go directly in place right now. So I'm going to click sign in, and it takes me back into my mobile application. Now, in this mobile application, I've got a complete experience about my CRM. So I can quickly go into, drill into the North Twin opportunity that I was looking at earlier within my email, and I can see the quick information about that opportunity. I can see the documents that I've attached with this opportunity. Some of these documents are actually stored in SharePoint, could be stored in OneDrive for Business. I'm able to pull them directly in place and open them directly on my mobile device and start to work with them. One of the other things nice about this application is insights. It is actionable insights. It's actually recommending, based on everything I know about this individual, about this opportunity, whatever else I have in the shopping cart, it's recommending what other products and services I may want to propose and add to this opportunity. If I click on that recommendation link on top, it says, here's the other suggestions we've got for you. Maybe you want to add all of these products into this opportunity and start to build up the value of the opportunity. Now, it tells me insights about that opportunity, but if I touch back on the top here, it also has an area that helps me focus on the things that matter most to me. For example, I've got some meetings coming up. I've got some other cards where it's looked into, detected the content of the emails that I've received, and suggested the actions that I want to take based on those emails that I've got. So I'm fully functional on this mobile experience, and I'm able to do all of the things that I need to do to be able to respond to my customers using a mobile device. Now, when I go to my desktop experience here, I can see that the same insights that I saw on the mobile application are available on top of my dashboard here in the form of these relationship assistant cards. So my personal digital assistant is working with me, whether I'm on the mobile device or I am on the web application. I've got a number of these cards that are coming based on content of the email, based on these things. Well, what are all these cards? What if I want to understand what types of cards are there, and how do I want to personalize which ones I want to see and which ones I don't want to see? When I click on that link right there, it basically gives me this experience, and it says, here's these different cards. I'm pulling up some cards based on exchange, based on data that sits within your emails, appointments. I'm pulling up some data that's based on relationship activity, that's measuring the health of the the relationship with that particular account or opportunity or prospect, and it's recommending actions I want to take. If I didn't want to do any of these or configure each of these, it's very easy for me to go and make these changes and turn these things off. So I can personalize the experience that I want and be able to feel like I'm empowered to do the things that I want to do. Now, the other nice thing that this opportunity provides is a lot of times, I don't understand everything that I need to do to be able to move my opportunities along or to use the system. I can click on this help right here, and this basically gives me in-context help based on who I am, based on where I am in the application, and generates and recommends the things that I want to be able to do to move the process along, to work on my opportunities. And it's not just data that I can look at or videos I can play. I've also got the ability to what we call guided tasks, where I can click on this take a tour, and they will actually guide me on different things that I need to do. If I want to select my favorite, this is how I do it. If I wanted to go click on my dashboard, this is how I do it. If I wanted to go, where I want to start navigation, I can do that. So it's very helpful for me to understand how to use the system and how to move that forward. Now, one of the things we looked at from a productivity perspective where we can easily track emails regarding a customer, I'm going to go back to the same opportunity that we were looking at earlier, the Northwind Printers opportunity, and this was my web experience for the Northwind Printers opportunity. One of the nice things that it does is, if you notice here in my activities pane, it's actually showing me a bunch of emails that I've received from prospects that seem to be related to this opportunity. And it's saying, do I want to track that email so that it's tracked in my system so that the rest of my people that are working on my opportunity are able to see that? So I can very quickly and easily be able to do that. I've also got an outbound email here. And I can click on this outbound email and basically, see what email we send. But more importantly, I always wonder when I send those emails, do those emails ever get opened? Do people actually look at those emails? When I click on this thing and drill into that email, now I have a recent activity and historical information about that email. And I'm able to see that my prospect engaged with me on this email. They opened that email. What time did they open it? Did they open the attachment? When was the attachment open? I can get that complete information about my customers and how I'm engaging with them. Now, back in the days, my life was good. I just had to work on opportunities, and I can just close my opportunities and be transaction focused and then leave. Now I've got a lot of technology that helps me close my opportunities and do more business together. But my company expects me to do more. My company wants me to be invested in not just closing business, but wants me to be invested in my customer success. Right? It wants to make sure that I get incented, I get motivated to make sure that my customers that are buying products from me are successful in their business. And a lot of those metrics, a lot of the data that I need to know to understand what customer success really means, generally sits outside in other systems that may not completely have all of that information in CRM. So what's nice about this interface is that we've built a big data application that's able to ingest every interaction that you're doing with customers across that entire enterprise, and maybe even outside the enterprise, weather data, other data that's related to the health of the customer, to be able to bring those insights directly into a dashboard about that customer. And here I can come in and quickly see, I've got Karen Johnson, and I've got, all the things that I'm doing with Karen, different activities and email. Some of these systems are basically tracking in, core banking, ATM transactions about Karen, because that's what I care about. All of those things are very important for me to understand how I'm interacting with Karen. What we also do here is we apply, when I click on this, predictive matches here, what we've done is we've actually predicted that Karen Johnson in this application over here is the same person that's called Karen Johnston in that other application, because we looked at multiple attributes across those two systems and conflated to say that this is the same individual. So when I'm looking at interactions of Karen, I'm looking at an aggregated view of interactions across those different systems. I don't have to run a large IT project to have global IDs, replicated across all these systems to be able to get that, view of Karen. I'm able to aggregate those entities and conflate that to get the real-time view of Karen across everything. What's also nice is I've got this graph right here, which basically says, what are the different ways in which Karen is engaged with us? We can look at different branches that Karen goes to. We can look at, different segments that Karen's part of or cases about that. And we've also built some predictive algorithms right here that are actually measuring the propensity of Karen to churn. And this is, again, based on data not just in CRM, but based on this complete graph about Karen across every interactions that we're doing with Karen across every system. So let's take a look at sort of what those predictive algorithms are telling us about those. So if I go in here, I'm going to click on this predictive analytics, and this is the model that we build. Again, it's very simple to build a model like this, but this is the model that we build. And it's basically predicting that if a prospect, if a customer has a score of around 47 or higher, right, the chances of that individual churning are actually high. Now, the model doesn't always get everything right. It learns based on historical data, and it gets better. But at this point in time, I've tested that model against historical data to say the predictions that I have done, how correct am I, right? And I've got about 70 to 80% correct that whoever they say is churn is actually going to churn, and whoever they say may not churn may actually churn. So I'm tracking all of that data and all the signals about that. I've also got these top 5 predictors right here. That's actually telling me what are the key reasons that model inferred from the data, from the graph that I threw at the model, to say that these are the key signals that are predicting, that are telling you that these signals are gonna make the data churn. Now I've got that graph and the predictive model, and that can actually be used to do a lot of intelligent things about these customers. If I come back in here and click on, let's say, another application that we're creating is segmentation. So I've got some segments that I've created. I want to drill into, let's say, one of these high balance customers, and I'm concerned about high balance customers, and I want to know who those high balance customers are and what they're doing. But I'm very able to use that segment that we've created to be able to do more kinds of things. So if I click on edit segment, I'm able to go into the segment editing experience and use that rich graph that I have across the segment thing to be able to do intersections and unions and all kinds of interesting data to be able to say what I'm doing over there. And it seems that I may have to refresh this application, but you get the point. I've got an intelligent graph about the customer. I can write a very intelligent query that says, I want customers that are likely to churn, but that have high balances and that also go to this branch because maybe they're closing the branch, and we can use a segment and target a specific offer based on that. So I truly feel that in this new world, I'm now empowered to engage employees on my mobile phone. I'm empowered to get actionable insights that tell me what are the things that I need to be able to do. And then I've got the information about customers across all the systems that I have in my landscape to be able to build predictive models that guide the experience that I want to take with these specific customers. So with that, that's the Empowered Employees demonstration.
Thanks a lot, Param. So I just want to highlight a few key things. First of all, kind of within the application, we have the deepest level of immersive productivity, and that's also available on the go. Secondly, we talked about network orchestration, the network capital. You saw how with relationship intelligence, we are actively pushing a lot of the information back to the employees so that they can take steps. And that information is not only coming from the Dynamics 365, it's coming from Office 365 and also LinkedIn Insights. So key theme. Thirdly, customer profile lives in distributed systems. We showed how we can bring all of that together and empower the end users to actually take true action with their data as well as with their customers. Let's switch gears and talk about optimizing operations. So Dynamics 365 is just not a productivity tool. It's also a tool for optimizing operations. And I'm going to take a lens of optimizing operations from the front office side. We'll actually do a complete session on, Sri is going to lead that, talking about optimizing operations all the way across. But for optimizing operations, you need best practices. And we have extremely rich business process infrastructure right within the application that can help you take those business practices and make it available to all of your employees. Secondly, when you talk about optimizing operations, you need to go across silos of knowledge. You need to go across silos of applications. The way we have built Dynamics 365, it's purpose-built, but you can start small and extend all the way through. There is a deep connection between the front office and the back office. And finally, for optimizing operations, you also need project service, detailed execution, and understanding the profitability analysis. We deliver all of that. But no application is complete without the last mile. For that, we have tapped into our ecosystem, and we deliver a lot of industry extensions based on that. So now let me quickly share with you a quick example of one of our customers, Global Strategy Group. And they are a public affairs agency. They were voted one of the best by Holmes Report. They do corporate reputation management along with also execution of political campaigns. And they were looking for a system which had Office 365 and Dynamics 365 all in one place. They had different silos of applications of sales, service, marketing, and project services on different infrastructure. And they also wanted the ability to cross the chasm between the front office and the back office with financials. This particular company adopted Dynamics 365, and they are in the process of implementing, focusing on having optimized operations all the way across. So let's have a quick view of how optimizing operations can be shown within the product. Param?
So one of the things I want to do within my organization is I'm going to look at the business processes that are successful, the business processes that are replicating the best practices of my employees. I want to make sure that those business processes are used throughout the organization. So as we saw earlier in the opportunity, we have these processes on top of here, and it basically have intelligent metrics around it. It guides people in my organization and how to work with customers, what are the stages and steps you want to take. Now, it's great that we have that process, and we can measure sort of how long we've been in this process. For example, 152 days in one stage of a process seems like a little too long. Maybe I need to give them some help. But what's more important is that I can understand the bottlenecks in this process and very easily, as a business analyst, come in and start to change the business process, start to change the tweaks that I need to be able to make the business process more efficient. So I come in here, I click the edit process, and that basically gives me a graphical drag and drop designer to be able to describe the stages and steps that I want in every one of those processes. For example, we've got qualify, develop, and propose. Let's say in the propose, we've got these steps. In the propose stage, we've got different steps I want to be able to take. I can now tie automation into the process. If I wanted to say that as soon as I move an opportunity into that proposed stage, I want to tie a workflow to that. And I want that workflow to basically be invoked as soon as I enter that stage. Now, using this simple drag and drop, I can now automate the things that I want my people to do. When you go to the proposed stage, make sure you do these 5 things. When you exit the proposed stage, make sure you do these 2 things. I can very easily replicate that thing. And as a business analyst, it becomes super easy for me to be able to do that. So if I move that process along, I've got a condition here. And as a business analyst, I define that condition. That condition says, if I've got an opportunity that has a more than 15% discount, I want to route that to approval. I want to make sure that it goes to manager and does that thing. Very easy, very simple for me to make these changes. And again, these replicate the best practices across this organization. Now, we ship a lot of these business processes out of the box in our application, but we don't solve all the needs of all the customers across all the industries and every single corner case and scenarios. The nice thing is that Dynamics 365 is built on an infrastructure, built on a business process layer that makes it super easy for customers to extend it themselves. But on top of that, our partners have invested in hundreds of solutions across by industries, by different functional areas to give us these solutions. For example, I can come into my AppSource marketplace, and I can come in and say, I'm looking for a financial services-based solution. And I can quickly say here that there are about 120 such solutions that are out there that different partners have built and put in there that are relevant to the business process, relevant to the best practices that a financial services customer's needs. And these come, pre-built with entity, with business processes, with business logic. A lot of that stuff is there. I'm going to check back that box. We've got, a few other, let's say we click on the citizen services application. If I wanted to learn if I'm a government and city, a municipality, and I want to build citizen engagement with people that live in a municipality, and I want to use the platform to be able to create that engagement platform, I can very quickly see what this partner has created, and I can click within this community, click a free trial, and be able to say, within my application, now I'm ready to actually start to try this application, see the capabilities that are part of this free trial. So I can get some experience of, what are the different applications you've got in there, what are the different things in there. So it becomes very easy for me to run the trial and do that based on that. And again, I ran out of my authentication in here, so it's going to come back and authenticate again. But here you can see I've got that application pre-created, the trial out here as well. I can see the different services in here. If I wanted to look at what type of, let's say, street light, managing, street lights is a key part of, what I want to be able to do. So I can very quickly get that information across each one of these and get a trial across each one of these things. And again, a lot of cities do pothole management type service requests, so you can manage the entire process around that very quickly. Now, in an organization, and large organizations like yourself, most people aren't working alone. They're working in teams, and they're working with, in teams that need to coordinate across tasks, across multiple days to make sure you're meeting the needs of your customers. What we've also got within the product itself is comprehensive project management capabilities. The project management capabilities are able to, again, use the same business process that we saw earlier to say what are the different stages of business process, but manage the entire business of a project, all the way from what are the hours required to complete the business process, what are the estimated costs of that, what are the team members that are involved in that business process. It can be used to drive that engagement across different teams. I'm able to go into that and actually break this further and say, if I want to look at work breakdown structure for this project, I can basically say, I've got different phases, and each one of these phases I've got different tasks that I need to perform, and for all those tasks I need to assign resources and do different kinds of things based on that. Now what's nice is you may be thinking, well, I do some of that in MS Project, and that's great. If you're familiar with MS Project and you use that for planning and execution, we have built in the integration into Microsoft Project as well. So when I come into Microsoft Project, we have a Project Service tab, and based on the Project Service tab, I can say I want to read my project that I've defined here, and it'll basically come back with the list of projects that I've got. And let's just say I was working on that FabricCam Phase 2 project. I come in here and I'll say open it, and it basically goes in and reads that project and creates all of the work breakdown structure that I've got defined within my project service application directly here as well. So I've got now bi-directional integration built within these two applications if I link them to, and then I can now start to manage my project directly in place as well. And I can do either in Microsoft Project or in my application within Dynamics. Now what's also nice is that not only are you executing and planning across these things, but the entire business of managing that thing. For example, if I look at project estimates, what have we done with this project? What are different estimates we've got? That entire business of cost and resources and effort that we've done across these things is all tracked. And these time and expenses are actually integrated through our common data service into project accounting. This is something in the next session that my colleagues Sri and team are going to cover as well. And they show you the project accounting part of this, which is part of the AX. So we've actually built a fully integrated end-to-end application that's able to not just execute and manage the project and manage the business around revenues and costs, but also do everything around accounting and managing the GL related to that as well. Now, one of the last things I want to do if I'm running a project and I've got a lot of resources in there is I want to make sure that I understand what are the people, what are they working on, and are they utilized, fully utilized. We built a very generic scheduling capabilities here, where I'm able to come in very quickly and say, are my people fully utilized? What does the utilization rate look like? And if you can see that, some people are more utilized than others, and I want to understand, what they're utilized on, I can quickly click here, get an overview of their skills, but also see, that they're, engaged across different types of activities within the application. So I can start to make sure that I'm putting a best practice process, but then also using the best practice processes to get the most out of the resources that I have within my organization and driving up the utilization. So thank you, Jujhar. That was the optimized process demonstration. Thank you.
Just to recap, kind of some of the key differentiators that you saw. Focus on best practices management. We have the very deep capabilities for process and workflow, which goes across entities, across silos. Secondly, project service automation, extremely deep. And what you also saw is the same experience for scheduling for field service is also being used for project service. You can actually have one common view of a consultant going and working on a project or going and doing a break-fix job. Extremely unique. And then doing the end-to-end process with the last mile through AppSource adds another element of differentiation. Let's switch gears and talk about our last pillar, transforming products. In the new world, if you do have to survive, you need to adopt newer business models. You have to transform the way you do business, selling just products and services, to being much more customer business outcome focused. That has to be a key. And for that, on the one hand, Microsoft has deep investments, as I mentioned, on Azure IoT. But what we have also done is a deep connection back to Dynamics 365, where each one of these IoT alerts can be made a part and parcel of any kind of customer engagement process. And while doing that, we can deliver amazing examples of predictive service, from a IoT alert to somebody getting a work order automatically generated and a field service rep showing up on your doorstep even without any customer actually calling it. Finally, finding the right resource. If you are focused on outcomes, if you are focused on delivering business value, then finding the right resource at the right time is key. And that's what we also do with our universal scheduling application. Let's see an example of one of our customers, Sandvik, who has transformed their product. And let's roll the video.
Sandvik has been in the forefront in the metal cutting industry for more than 70 years. What we can offer for our customers is specific knowledge at the tooling level, minimizing idle time up to 50%. At Sandvik we use Azure IoT Suite to collect data in real time and getting facts out of the machining process. With our sensor-equipped tools, that is possible. If you know the temperature, if you know the load, if you know the vibration, if you have that and can use that type of data, you can increase the efficiency of the machining process and generating savings for our customers of millions of dollars. Our decades of knowledge and experience from the metal cutting industry, combined with Cortana intelligence, I think makes the perfect blend. It is about using the cloud, giving instant recommendations about cutting parameters, speeds and feeds, connect that to our CRM system, bring that into our call centers and instantly give feedback to the customer. This enables customers to predict when to change a tool, when to order a tool, how to move out of a vibration zone. In simple words, how to become more efficient. We at Sandvik are really excited how Dynamics 365 brings all the systems together. With this solution, we are able to reinvent the art of manufacturing. Tools, machines, processes working together, all the way from the customer to the sales interaction, helping us deliver an unprecedented level of field service.
Let's see how we can transform your products with Dynamics 365. Ryan?
Thanks, Jujhar. So what we're going to look at today is a company that's actually sold 3D printers. And they've traditionally done that, and they've traditionally received incoming phone calls of an issue with that 3D printer. Now what they've done is actually installed a sensor within that 3D printer that's actually measuring the temperature. A common issue for having problems with 3D printers is that it's overheating. So if we detect that particular issue, we want to take action. This is actually a combination of Azure IoT working with Dynamics 365. So at this moment, we're looking at a simulator here, and we see that we're going to go out to a sensor that's in the field. And as we actually access that in real time, this is sending information through the Azure IoT Hub of the particular temperature. Now, as we spike that temperature to, for example, 71, we're going to see that our first threshold is passed. And that's also the configuration aspect of this demo. You can set particular thresholds for your particular devices, and based on that, you can send commands or you can generate workflows. So it would be able to reboot the device in this particular case to try and proactively fix the issue that we faced at this customer site. This is the first option, first threshold. Moving forward from that, though, the 3D printer continues to heat, and therefore we need to take action as an organization so that our customer does not have a problem. So as we spike this particular temperature to 81, this is really where the bridge to Dynamics 365 kicks in, because that passes our second threshold and is actually going to send what we call an IoT alert into Dynamics 365. So I'm going to jump away from our simulator now and actually look at that IoT alert. Now, as Jujhar mentioned, this is a fully automated process. So I'm actually just showing you the transactions that the system created based on that temperature spike. So we have the technical details of that and the business process, the workflow that the system is going through. So after we have an IoT alert, we create a case. Now, within that case, we have, of course, all kinds of knowledge if we're manually executing the stage, or we're able to go in and say, well, let's show us a work order so that we move forward and drive this process. Now, when we have a work order, we're also able to, as we saw in Eric's demonstration earlier today, generate that IVR. So that IVR was the integrated voice response of that incoming phone call to the representative that we see. Let's just quickly do this so that doesn't stay white. There we go. No. Oh, nice. That was not supposed to happen. There we go. We'll get back. So as we see, we get this work order that triggers the IVR that sends the voice message to the customer. But that's nice. We know someone's coming, but you still don't have maybe an exact time window of when that representative is going to show up. So the next step that we have here is not only the IVR, but also the text message that we're sending to our primary contact that we've registered in Dynamics 365 about this incident. And this enables them to follow in real time who is actually traveling to our location and the exact speed and arrival time that they will be there. So this is real customer satisfaction. And from my own point of view, one of the things that's very important here, you may see it in the top left, is Jamie is our field technician who's actually going out there, and a picture is provided. So if this is a business-to-business or a business-to-consumer environment, you're at least comfortable with allowing the person who's coming either on your premises or within your house to actually solve that particular issue. Real customer engagement in action here. So switching gears from there, let's go to our schedule board. We saw a little bit of that earlier today from Eric. We saw some from Param in terms of project planning, but we can plan anything in Dynamics 365. We're able to schedule leads that we have here. So it's resource optimization of all different kinds of information. And what I would like to show is the idea here that we have the unscheduled work orders, we have the projects, and we have the leads. And I'm simply able here to drag and drop this particular lead to a particular resource, and it's assigned. Now, this again was me performing a manual action, but as I mentioned, with resource optimization, machine learning possibilities that we have, is we can look at the criteria of either the work order, the project, or the lead, and based on the definitions, we can assign it to the correct person automatically. The key here is that then we allow dispatchers or planners to actually work on the incidents that take place in a day and not the routine scheduling that's necessary for them to do every single day, in and out, and so forth. So with that, this was our demonstration about transforming products. Thank you.
So just to recap the key differences as far as transforming your products, you can have any type of IoT alert participate in a customer engagement process. You can have predictive processes, proactive processes, where a IoT alert can actually generate a work order, schedule it, and dispatch the agent who reaches the customer site and give complete visibility. And finally, one of the key things around scheduling. You have seen it in action in multiple places. But what's key is you can use the same scheduling engine across sales, service, marketing, any process that you pick up. The same power that a field service agent has, now a sales manager can actually look at run the resource optimization of all incoming leads to his sales rep, but at the same time then can do drag and drop to balance the load. That's the power of unified scheduling. As we look into the future, I do want to call out a few things as we are building it. First of all, our focus on the network part, the relationship capital is going to continue. We are going to focus more and more into bringing Office 365 intelligence, LinkedIn intelligence, right within the Dynamics 365 product. For us, customer intelligence is going to be an area that is key, and that's customer intelligence not only sitting within Dynamics 365, it is using Azure Big Data Assets with our Customer Insights offering and enriching it. You'll see much more of the predictive scenarios right show up within the application. Also, as we look into the future, we are going to specifically focus on different sizes of organization. Mid-size, large enterprise, small, all of that complete spectrum. And one of the key pillars was the evolving channels. I showed you some examples, but these channels keep on evolving. Bots was not a mainstream idea a few years ago, or even maybe 6 months to 9 months ago. Now everyone is talking about bots. So our focus on tapping into the newer channels, but making sure that they always correlate back to that omni-channel story, correlate back to the seamless switch from one channel to another. And the last part is, as we build this ecosystem, we are going to always focus also on the last mile through using AppSource, so that you have more and more partners building industry-specific extensions, and also key strategic partnerships like we have with Adobe. So you'll see us show deeper and deeper integration on that. So if I had to sum up, when you look at digital transformation, which is a key requirement for the fourth industrial revolution, there are 5 things that I would like you to take back with you. First of all, for enabling it, we have the most productive business application with deep immersive productivity. Secondly, we deliver embedded and actionable intelligence. And those intelligence elements are coming not only from big data sources, but also from relationships, which we are tapping into the big networks to bring that intelligence back. We deliver solutions that can help you transform and look at new business outcome models, very SLA focused, outcome focused. Omni-channel and focus on evolving channels is going to be key for us. And then orchestrating business process across silos and connected devices is a key theme. I hope you got a good perspective on how we are enabling digital transformation with a special focus on customer engagement. We would love to be a part of your digital transformation every step of the way. Thanks a lot, everyone.